Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Same, if this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash the subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all, and I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for always coming through, supporting me. You all are super awesome. So today we'll be watching something that I found really very interesting, and it's about a Mexican guy speaking real facts about Black people. And he was saying that Black people have been silent and suppressed for a long time, because some people were like, Black people are loud and all that. And he was like, they have been suppressed. They have been like, they do not want them to speak. And when they started speaking, when they decided to speak loud because they want their voices to be heard and a whole lot more. He went further to say so many things about Black people. Stay close to the screen. Let me roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it, and I absolutely want to read what you think about this. So straight up, let me roll the
Black girls, don't you get tired? They're always loud. And I say, Black people have been suppressed and silenced for so long in this country. And when they finally decided to speak up, they spoke the loudest in this country. It is almost now in their DNA, from what I understand personally as an individual. I'm not speaking facts. I'm speaking from understanding and observation. Black people have spoken the loudest because they have had to. They've done it for such a long time that it's now in their DNA to be loud. Now I understand, you see? Absolutely. Now I understand why it's part of the trauma to be loud. Now I get it. When you study history, specifically Black history, and you see the way that Black people are, you get it. Right. Study the history. Don't just notice when they act out. Better question, why do they act out? Study history, and you'll learn that they have been silenced for such a long time, longer than they have not. They've been forced to be quiet for much longer. And when they finally decided to break their silence, they screamed the loudest. And when they did so, nothing could silence them anymore. You study history, you acknowledge this fact.
Black power, not anymore. They have started speaking, and I am not stopping them anymore from speaking. You know what? There is more to this video, and I cannot wait to roll it so we all can hear what he got to say, because he went further to say so many things about Black people. Let me know if you concur with what he said. I absolutely want to know what you all think. So let's get into the next one.
First of the Caucasian was to demonize the Black man. And once they did so, they counted on that so that the whole world sees the Black man with their racist eyes. And once they did that, it worked. However, Black people somehow, some way, managed to be creative and become popular. There is no systematic effort that helped them become this. They somehow, some way became the popular people, the cool people, and everything they touch becomes popular. It doesn't matter if it's a Asian brand, a white brand. They touch it, they wear it, they make it cool. Now, my issue with that is stop making popular non-Black brands. That would be my message. Look, Black people, y'all have this great ability to wear everything and you popularize it. You make it trend. The problem is that y'all are wearing white brands and making them rich. Nah, start wearing your own brands. I've seen Dr. Dre sell his Beats brand. Now, Apple bought his brand for $2-3 billion. This particular brand is extremely successful. The most popular set of headphones on the planet. All the basketball players were wearing them. All the athletes, everybody wears them. The sad part is that this brand, Beats by Dre, would be able to generate billions and billions and billions in time. And Apple knew this. So let's take this blueprint away from this Black man and own it, because for one, a Black man doesn't need this much power. Two, it's very lucrative to spend $3 billion on something that's gonna go on for generation after generation. So you're purchasing an item that is going to bring you more than you spent by far in due time. But two, which in my opinion the most important, is let's take away this power from this man. It's too much power for you as a Black man to own the most popular brand on the planet in regards to headset. I say that to say this. A lot of white companies, they're buying a lot of intellectual property from black artists, black celebrities, buying their music rights, everything right now. And the reason why is because if you pay a rapper who's very popular and his music is going to be forever, has stood the test of time, you pay them $200 million, you own that. And you're going to pass this intellectual property to your children's 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 children. Those 200 million to pay one time to this person is so worth it. Unfortunately, we're just not educated enough to see that they are buying our blueprint that's going to make money forever. Story earlier about somebody telling you something along the lines of, there is no color in Mexico. Tell me that story.
I hear it all the time because my content is based on my experience as a black woman in Mexico. And when I speak from my experience, people are outraged and they normally tell me, in Mexico, we don't see color. We're just Mexican in Mexico. And you bring your colonized, privileged American mindset to Mexico and you're destroying it because it's perfectly fine, basically.
And you hear this from Mexicans or Mexican Americans?
99.9% Mexican Americans.
Right. The problem is there's this misconception that in Mexico they don't see color and they don't see race, that everyone's just Mexican. The problem with that is that to say that there is no color in Mexico and there is no race is like being in America and saying, oh, in America we're all just Americans, there is no race and no color, when that is a huge lie. Because the truth when it comes to America as well as Mexico is that every country is diverse when it comes to race and color. With that said, there is a lot of jobs in Mexico that the requirement to acquire that job is you have to be light-skinned and you have to also have blue or green eyes. So when people here that are born in the U.S., because I was born in Mexico, I speak from a place of experience. People here speak from a place of opinion. So when people that are born here and only go to Mexico as tourists, of course, you only get to experience Mexico as a tourist. You don't get to experience it as actually living there and facing the struggles of being Mexican as an indigenous brown person. You don't get to experience that. You get to experience and be treated as a tourist. There's a huge difference. So with that said, when people that are born in this country give an opinion like that about Mexico, a lot of them are what we call white-sicans, Euro-Mexicans. They speak from a place of privilege. They've never had to experience colorism, at least in a negative way, meaning colorism has never prevented them or limited their opportunities because they are white-passing, white Mexicans. They, by default, are the standard of beauty. So when they go to Mexico, they're treated as such. That's the reason why jobs over there, many jobs, especially where you have to show your face, if you will, they require that you're light-skinned. They will only hire you if you're light-skinned, if you have predominantly European features. There's this thing that a lot of these white-sicans will never experience. You will never be called a pinche India or pinche Indio. That is one of the worst things that you could be called in Mexico, which pretty much is to say effing indigenous. However, it is a slur because we have been taught that being indigenous is the most inferior thing you could be. So when you say to somebody effing indigenous, what you're really calling them is you effing inferior person, uneducated, poor, etc. All the negative things that come with it. So these white passing people and never even experience those kind of things, they speak from a place of ignorance. They have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They've never actually lived in Mexico as indigenous people. The people that are discriminated the most in Mexico are indigenous people. They are living in the worst conditions in Mexico, and that's not by coincidence. That is a systemic effort. So earlier you told me something like when you arrived to Mexico, you seen a magazine, and then you said what?
On that magazine, it was nothing but white passing Latinos. I said, white, 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 white.
In Mexico magazine, all you saw were white people. And you thought to yourself, where's the indigenous people at in your magazines and your television? The irony in that is the fact that in the movie Wakanda Forever, the character that played Kukulkan or Namor, he's a dark-skinned indigenous person. So when he did that role, Mexico media were angry, saying he is not the proper representation of Mexico. Why is he not the proper representation of Mexico? Because the effort is to depict the Mexican, the face of Mexico, a white person. And that is why when you open a Mexico magazine or watch Mexico channel, you see nothing but white.
So this is all we got from the video, and I want to ask, who really told people that black is not the standard? Who really told people that white is the standard? Like, I just don't get it. It's kind of really crazy, like, you know, people having this kind of mentality and having to deal with this kind of mentality. It's kind of sick, crying out loud. Anyway, this is where I am gonna call it. Sorry, this is where I'm gonna call it a day. I absolutely want to read what you got to say about this, because I really do want to learn about. I really do want to learn a lot. I want to learn from you. Please do educate me. Like, make me understand it. Why black is, like, you know, they see black as something that is not okay, and to them white is absolutely the standard beauty. Man, this is bullshit. Thank you all for all the support. See you all in my can't you see how my melanin is popping and somebody's telling me I am not the standard? Like, how? See you all in my next video. Bye for now.